Hey guys, so I am back with another tutorial, and today we are going to be working on finally this Fortnite gift box child that I done created since last month. Supposed to do a tutorial. Procrastination is a disease, but that's neither here nor there. We are here now. But let me tell y'all, I accidentally resized it when I first got it printed out for CVS. Like, child, I was all over the place trying to rush. So today I had to go get them. When I was trying to make the video, I had to resize them, went to Walgreens, and boom, they did me again. Can you believe this? This is the second time. I'm like, child, no, look at this. Look at this. Like, that's dead grass, this live grass. Like, oh my gosh. I just can't. I cannot with Walgreens. I don't know what they are on, but it is just not it. Look at the vibrance from CVS and the jacked up from the Walgreens. Like, I cannot. I just cannot. But that's neither here nor there. We are here to make the tutorial, and this is just a mock-up. But I can't with them. Like, look at the black. The black look brown. It has all these lines in it, but anyways, we got the front, the back, we got the two sides. We have the image that goes on the top, and this is the flap and the piece that you put on before you score. And of course the bottom. So we're gonna be using the bottom one. Even though this one is more vibrant, I just need the size of this one. Whew. This definitely has been a journey. So we just gonna put these over there. So for this, of course, you're going to need your X-Acto knife, extra glue sticks, adhesive tape, your metal ruler, your acetate, extra blades for your X-Acto knife, and your glue gun. Let's plug that in right quick. Time to get that hot. And of course, your foam boards. So let's put this all to the side and get started. I already changed the blade on my X-Acto knife, so I didn't necessarily need to change it right now. And we are going to remove the paper. This little sticker. And there's really no like right or wrong way to, well, there is for this one, because this is an 8.5 by 11. And so I don't know what is up with me and making these tutorials, and I always do like a little mess up. Like, child, one day I'm gonna get it right the first time. But this is the bottom, and we're just gonna stick that down. And I like to peel a little bit off. I like to crease it, fold it, and then stick the top part first. And that way I can have a little bit more control of pulling and smoothing. So you just want to pull and smooth as you go. You want to get rub all those bubbles out. And just like that. So now you're going to see me place this down, but the gag is, you don't really want to place that down, because this, and I'm going to end up lifting it up and putting it on a different sheet, because I need to put the top part and the flap at the bottom if you're doing the flap. But because like, this is what I was saying, I could just never get it right the first time. I'm just always doing the most, not thinking, but next time we're gonna do it right next time. So we're not even paying attention to this part, because it's not what we're supposed to do. But other than that, I'm just peeling and sticking. So after this is where I did a little boo-boo too, because that back image that I have, we're supposed to be adding that to the top of this back image before we cut it all out. So this should have been on another sheet of paper, but I'm gonna make another video so I can show you guys what I'm talking about, and I'll explain it towards the end, because child, sometimes I don't know where my brain be when I be doing these things. But this is how it looks. And that's if you're adding that top piece. Like, you don't have to add the top piece if you don't want to, but the top piece just adds that extra, you know, oomph. Now this is me lifting up this repositionable part because, I mean the top part, this is because I realized, like, girl, what are you doing? You're supposed to be adding that flap, and you're supposed to be adding that area that you're going to score for the hinge. And therefore I had to go get a different board, and you know, one day I'm gonna get it right the first time. Because I think, Walgreens already messed me up once they jacked up my images. So I'm gonna just have to start working on not letting little things like that bother me, because they just, like, y'all, these images are just so not it. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting the flap off, and at the end of the project, where I'm just cutting the flap off altogether, and we're assembling it on the board before we cut the foam board. That way it's just one thing. Okay, so now that that's done, we're just gonna place that right here before, like I said, we cut the foam board. I had a little extra white, so I'm just gonna like take that off a little bit. You know, I got a little OCD when it comes to this. And then we're gonna peel the back, and we're just gonna like try to place it in the middle where it's even. I need enough space on the left and enough space on the right so that foam board can like fit in there. Y'all, please excuse my family in the background. They be doing the most. And I'll be knowing what's going on until I'm looking at these videos and I'm like, what is really going on? Like, really? I can't. So now that that's placed, we're going to take this little flap part and we're just going to do the same thing, but to the bottom of the front. Like I said, after this, I'm cutting the flap off. Even though it's really cute. But I might have to make a little bit of adjustments if I want the flap to the front, because it just protrudes out too much for the flap for this one. So I'm definitely gonna have to make some adjustments to this template and make the top a little smaller by maybe like ½ an inch. So this is how it's gonna need to look before you cut it out. And right now we're just gonna take our time and we're gonna cut all these pieces out and then get to assembling. So with that being done, now I'm just taking my ruler and my blade and I'm cutting that little white piece off on the side. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna see me cut off a little bit more, because I feel like I need a little bit more for the when I put it in, actually score it and assemble it inside the top to give room for the foam board. the thickness of the foam board, if that makes a little sense. Because even though it has that little gap, the gap isn't big enough. So I just end up cutting a little bit more off. But do not even trip, because you won't have to do that, because with me making this, I'm definitely doing all my adjustments to the template. So your template will definitely be perfect. Now that that's done, I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to score this part. Now this is the part where you're going to put the glue and glue it on the back, just like the vanity, for the hinge, so the top can come, you know, open and close. Now, if you have if you're using regular hinges, you don't even have to worry about doing anything like this, or even adding that yellow part right there, because you're just going to add your hinges on this and on the back of the box. So right now I'm just scoring that flap area, just like I did the back. And scoring is where you're just simply slightly gliding that blade along that little invisible line right there. That way it can fold like that. You do not want to go all the way through, because it will cut the whole back of the paper, and that's just going to defeat the whole purpose of scoring. So you're just going to slightly glide your blade. So we are back to cutting out all the other pieces, and then I'll be back. Okay, now that that's all done, it's time for this part. And this is the part that might take the longest, but what we're gonna do is we're just gonna take our time and do it. And even though it's gonna be sped up, you're gonna see that I'm just gonna do a piece at a time, and then I'm gonna like rip that part off. And then I'm gonna go to the next piece and I'm gonna take that part off. But with things like this, you can just take your time. Or like I said, you don't even have to do this. Now, the one mistake that I'm going to say that I did, and I didn't realize it until after the box was already done, was that I was supposed to add this image. I was supposed to cut off the bottom and add this image onto the back part, so that it's just one cohesive back part. I wasn't necessarily supposed to piece it together like this, but it still came out cute. You know, but I just like for it to be one back piece. And I don't even know where my head was that I didn't even think about that. Like I said, I'm still just jacked up from Walgreens, just messing it up, because this image was supposed to be so vibrant and cute. Like, thanks a lot, Walgreens. But, you know, here we go. Okay, the hard part is done, and this is what it's supposed to look like when it is done. We're just going to clean that up because now it's time to cut that acetate, and those little parts stick to the acetate. So we're going to take that image we just cut out and we're going to measure it. Remember, we want to leave you want to leave edges so that you can put that tape and it's not just like exact. You want to give yourself a little bit of grace. So we're just going to mark it so we know where to cut. And then I'm going to take my metal ruler and I'm going to cut it. Okay, that part is done. So let's clean up our mess a little bit so that we don't have any more debris on this acetate. Because child, these little things will stick. The little foam pieces will stick to this acetate. And it's so hard to get off once it's already taped on the board. So now that that's done, we're going to get our front piece. We're going to get our double-sided adhesive. And we are just going to measure and add them along the edges, close to the sides. Once all the double-sided adhesive is placed down, we're just going to pick off the top and carefully place our acetate on the tape. And boom, that's how it's supposed to look. So now that that's done, it's time to assemble, and we are almost done. So what I'd like to do is I measure first. Measuring is so important, and like I always say, I never stress enough, no matter who's making your templates, it is always important to measure because sometimes the printer can expand your images and then that jacks the whole thing up. But these are pretty good. Those are the sides. The Fortnite with the grass, that's the bottom. Then you have your top, you have your front, and your back. So measuring is definitely important. So for this, the way this template works is that we're going to do the sides first. The sides go to the back. Now, I'm gonna need y'all to bring it in because I've seen plenty of people where they attach, this has legs. So I've seen plenty of people where they attach the bottom to the bottom of the legs. Like, no, we don't do that. These are legs, honey. So we're gonna just glue this side right here and we're going to align it with that little gap that you see. Let me zoom in real quick so you guys can see. And do you see that gap? I try to align it right on top of that gap. And just like this, that's how it's supposed to look. So please do not glue it all the way on the bottom. And we're just gonna hold that there for a couple seconds. We're gonna get our little piece and we're gonna clean that glue up. And then we are going to do the same thing for the other side. I'm gonna flip it, that way it's easier for me to see and align with the bottom. So again, we're gonna align with that bottom gap and the side walls. We're gonna hold, clean, and then boom, that's how it's supposed to look. So now we're going to take the back. And that's how it's supposed to look right there, just like that. So let me just say, this is some raw footage, and what you're seeing is me aligning it. For some reason, the bottom is a little off, and not as long as the sides. So I have to measure and cut off. Like, this is straight raw, but like I said, when you guys get the template, all these will already be fixed. So this is just me measuring to cut that little, like 2 centimeters off. And I'm gonna do that with both sides. And I was almost gonna cut this part out, but I'm like, you know what? No, they need to see. They need to see the nitty-gritty. In case you guys get into some little, dilemma like this, you know what to do. That's why I say it is very important to measure before you just glue together. Because had this been glued already, it would have been so difficult to do. But that's all I needed to cut off. And now that that's done, it's time to, number 1, measure again. And number 2, glue it. This is me making sure. Now I think the front was just a tiny bit longer. So I'm just gonna like slim trim that. But as you can see, it wasn't by that much, so that probably was a little waste of time. And boom. So now that that is done, we can definitely now assemble. Now for this, you're going to want to turn your Fortnite over, because now mine is all backwards, but that's neither here nor there. So we're just going to glue along these sides, and then we're going to place the back on top. And the image is going to go on the inside, not the back. Now, if you want an image on the back, all you're going to have to do is delete that little score image here. Delete that part and just double print the image. That way you have like an image all around. I can definitely add that in the template. And now we're going to do the front. Same thing that you did to the back, you're going to do to the front. And we're going to make sure that aligns. We're going to press down a little bit, and then we're going to get that extra foam board and clean up the glue that's just spilling out. And boom, you have your box. So now we're just gonna measure, of course. And then we're gonna glue that down. But see, this is where I remembered that, like, oh my gosh, I was supposed to stick that on top of the back, or else that would have been done. And so now I have to glue that back piece on top of that back piece right there. And it's not horrible, but I just like it. I just like for it to be one piece, like from jump. And usually, like I said, I would have that all done, but I don't know where my brain was. But it's still cute. And at the end of the day, it's just going in the trash. But still, we want to put out our best work, always. And I might just try to add this piece on the template from Jump. So you guys won't even have to worry about that because it's just automatically going to be added. So now that that's done, we're measuring and putting the flap in there. I mean, not the flap, the top on to make sure that everything is good. And this is when I realized that that flap is cute, but the top is protruding out a little bit. So I'm either going to cut that off or I'm going to just cut the flap off. And I just cut the flap off. And I lay it down to set it down because I just feel like I have more control over seeing what I'm doing. But I can say this box is super cute. It is so cute and it's definitely big and I just love it. This is an 8.5 by 11 box. This is pretty much it, and it is super cute. And the flap is really cute too. It is a little, it's, you know, it's just for looks, but the fact that it's protruding out a little bit, I don't like that. And this is why I'm going to cut off the flap. But I'm definitely going to adjust that little top. So if you want the flap, you can keep the flap. And look, it's really cute. It's just not working out for the protrusion of this box for me. But this will definitely be fixed and adjusted. If you made it all the way through, thank y'all so much. I really appreciate it. If this is the type of stuff that you're into and want to see more tutorials like this, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell so whenever I post a video, you can see it. And again, thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, happy crafting.